Have you ever wondered how people rack up hundreds of thousands of points on their credit cards without spending money? Well, there's only two ways of really doing that. Number one is if you spend a lot of money. And number two is if you spend a lot of money without spending it. That is what we're going to be talking about in this video. Manufactured spending, how to spend money without really spending it. Now, I do recommend that you watch the entirety of this video so you won't end up like one of those people asking, why didn't this work for me? Why did my points get clawed back? Why did my credit card get closed? Because when it comes to manufactured spending, there's a lot of pros and cons and little tips and tricks that you need to keep in mind when doing this. If you're watching this, you probably already know what manufactured spending is, but let me cover it for those who don't. Manufactured spending is the act of artificially spending money solely for the purpose of generating reward points or to accelerate meeting your minimum spend requirements. Now, when it comes to spending, there's two ways of doing it. Number one is manufactured spend, which we're going to talk about, and the second is organic spend. Organic spend is pretty much when you go out to eat and you put it on your card, when you pay for gas, when you buy groceries, when you pay for your utility bills. That is considered organic spend. Most people who have credit cards do organic spend. That is how they meet their minimum spend. That is how they acquire points and miles. But the thing is, you are restricted to the amount of organic spend you have per month because you only have a certain amount of bills and things that you have to pay for. And that is where MS kicks in, right? What can it be used for? It can be used to basically generate unlimited points and miles. It can be used to go from credit to cash, to basically liquidate credit cards. It can be used for increasing credit limits because credit limits go based off of your spending patterns. And then lastly, it's also great for hitting subs, which are sign-up bonuses. That's usually when you acquire a brand new credit card and they tell you, hey, you need to spend $5,000 to get 100,000 points sign-up bonus with this card. So some people, maybe they struggle with spending those $5,000 in 3 months with their organic spend, and that is where they can basically MS for that. Now, when it comes to MS, most people know the basic strategy when it comes to gift cards, right? You take a credit card, you buy a gift card, you take the gift card, you liquidate it through money orders or through prepaid debit cards, and then essentially you take that money, you can either keep it if it's a 0% card, or you take that money and you pay off the card. And it's an entire process. However, the strategy I want to go over today is a little bit more advanced. It's more advanced than gift cards. It's more advanced than using PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, because that is a way to MS. But we're going to be discussing the Costco retail method. So the way this method works is you go to Costco.com and you start by shopping online. So this is going to be one of those online manufactured spending strategies. You're going to go to Costco and you're going to shop online. And when you do, you're going to shop. When you pay, you're going to pay with either a MasterCard or a Discover card. Now, I'm going to give you guys a really big tip here. Whenever you're MSing, you want to buy expensive items that are very small, things that you can carry in and out of the store easily. You don't want to buy furniture. You don't want to buy these big couches. You don't want to buy a fridge. You don't want to buy patio sets. These are expensive items, but you literally need someone to help you carry them out. You want something that's small, light. You can literally go buy it, walk in, walk out, no problem. A great example would honestly be something like a laptop. Laptops are very small. They come in a small box. They're very minimal and they can be somewhat expensive, right? This is a $1,000 laptop right here. You buy 5 of these, that's $5,000 plus taxes, so probably about $5,500 that you're going to be spending. And you're going to walk out with like 5 small boxes in your hand. In my opinion, it's much easier to walk out with 5 laptops that you just purchased instead of a 70-inch screen TV that you need someone to help you carry out to your car. Now, the reason you want the item to be something that's not a hassle to take back to the store is because you're going to be returning this item. So we can see here that step 2 is return in store to a Visa debit card. You see, the interesting thing about Costco is they do not accept MasterCard in store. So whenever you return, keep in mind, when you're purchasing on either a MasterCard or a Discover card, right? So this could be something like Citi. A lot of the Citi credit cards are MasterCards. A lot of the Capital One credit cards are MasterCards. Chase has the Freedom Flex as a MasterCard. Bank of America credit cards are MasterCard. And Discover, you can get creative with it. So the key here is buying online with MasterCard or Discover and returning in store on a Visa debit card. For people who are visual learners, going back to my previous slide, you're literally going from credit to debit. That's all you're doing. Now, with that being said, let me go over some pros, some cons, and some tips. The first pro is that you can spend big amounts and make it look organic. You see, most people who do MS, the reason they get shut down is because they make the spend look inorganic, right? So if they're buying gift cards, they make it seem fraudulent. However, when you're doing it this way, it just looks like you're shopping at a store online that's pretty much it. Second pro is no fees, right? When it comes to gift cards, depending on the ones that you're buying, you're going to be paying fees on those gift cards, anywhere from $3.95 to $6.95. When you're doing this method of buying and returning, going from credit to debit, there are no fees that you're paying. You're literally, the same amount that you spend is the same amount that you're going to get back on your debit card. Number three, in my opinion, this is the easiest way to get money directly from your credit card to your debit card. So basically, in my opinion, this is one of the easiest ways to liquidate. So let's say you got approved for a $10,000 0% business credit card and you needed that cash for a business venture that you wanted to do. This would be a strategy that you could utilize to, go from credit to cash. So I want to give you guys a very realistic example of something that can be done here, right? Let's say you do this one time a month, and that one time a month you spend $20K, right? Not very hard to spend $20K, especially on very expensive items. And let's say you do that on a card that offers a minimum, because most cards nowadays offer 2 to 3% cash back. Let's say minimum 2% back, right? In a month, if you do that one time a month, $20,000, that's 40,000 points that you earned from that alone, right? Certain airlines will get you a business class flight to Europe for 40,000 points. But where it gets really interesting is after a year, if you do this once a month for the whole year, you accumulate about 440,000 points from that. My math might be off, it might be 480, but still almost 500,000 points. You could take yourself and your family on a really nice vacation, or if you're a solo person, you can take several vacations with 500,000 points. Now let's talk about the con. It's very important that you guys keep this in mind. Worst case scenario, if for some reason it does not work out, if for some reason the person at the store is giving you a hard time, the worst thing that happens, guys, is the money goes right back to your credit card. That is worst case scenario. When it comes to MS, it is literally a hit or miss. This may or may not work for you. Just keep that in mind. It literally depends on what state you're in, what store you go to, right? It depends what Costco you go to, what employees work there, if somebody's giving you a hard time or not. But I've seen instances where somebody goes, they run this play and it just doesn't work for them. They go to the store and the money gets sent back to the original payment method, which can happen. And I've seen instances where people go to the store and they're able to literally swipe their debit card and everything goes through successfully. And I know a follow-up question some people are going to have, does this work with other stores? And the answer is yes. The best way to figure out what other stores work is to just go out and try things. I currently have a list of about 40 to 60 stores that this currently works with, but I only share that with my inner circle / credit vault members, which by the way is going to be reopening at the end of September 2022. So if you're interested in joining that, the wait list is in the description below. Some of our guys are literally making a few hundred to a few $1,000s a month just from literally cash back and manufactured spending. Back to this though, we covered some pros, we covered some cons. Now let me go over some tips. Number one is keep banks separate, credit and debit. This is very, very important, guys. You do not want to be, let's say you're using Capital One. You do not want to be purchasing on a Capital One credit card and returning to a Capital One debit card, because if you do that, it's going to look, it's red flags all over. This is what can get your points either clawed back, meaning literally the bank will take back those points that they gave you, or it could even get you shut down. Banks literally have systems and algorithms that pick up on this kind of thing. They see you purchased $3,000 on your credit card and they see $3,000 deposit right into your debit card. That's going to look very shady. So stay away from that. Try and keep those banks, actually always keep those banks separate when you're going from credit to debit. My second tip is go to different locations at different times, different hours, and different shifts. You don't want to go to the same store at 8 in the morning all the time where the same employees are there, because if you start doing this a lot, like you start scaling it up and doing it like every week or 2 or 3 times a month, and the same people recognize you, that could also raise some red flags within the store. So try and change things up a little bit. Tip number 3, and this is a big one. If you're going from credit to debit, and let's say you move $10,000 over from your credit to your debit card, don't literally go to the bank and try and cash out, like literally pulling cash, those $10,000 that you just moved from credit to debit. Because if they pull up your transaction history and they see that, they just see a big return from a store, it's going to raise some red flags. Trust me, it is no fun when your bank is locked for about 30 to 60 days and you have money just sitting there that you can't even take out. And this also goes back to the keeping the bank separate, right? Make sure that you guys are not doing this with your own bank account. Like if you have your own checking account where you have your money make sure you're not doing these returns on your personal checking account. Open up a completely separate checking account for this. And these are some pretty big tips that I haven't seen anybody here on YouTube talk about. So if you guys like this type of content, drop a like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. The final tip is start small and scale up. And this one's a little bit important because it avoids you getting shut down. If you're someone who spends regularly $500 on your credit card every month, and all of a sudden you're now spending $15,000 all of a sudden on your credit card, that could raise some red flags with the banks. So start small, start with small amounts and then slowly work your way up if you want to start doing this at scale and you want to start doing this, basically getting a system down. But that's pretty much it. That is the advanced MS strategy using the Costco method. If you guys have any questions at all, drop it in the comment section below. I will be responding to as many comments as possible. And if you stuck around to the end, I appreciate you guys watching the entire video and hopefully I brought some value to you. Again, our Credit Vault community will be opening up at the end of this month. So if you're interested in joining, link is down below. And with that being said, hope you have a good rest of your day.